Come along for a quick look at our food-filled weekend trip to New York City. For us, Manhattan is just a 3-hour train ride from Albany, so we took advantage of a childless weekend to hit the Amtrak and pack in as much good food as we possibly can in a short period of time. Everything from bagels to cubic croissants, Korean food, so many things. This video is going to be more of like a vlog style instead of more like commentary based, but I do plan on doing more videos highlighting individual places that we went to on this trip. So as you're watching this, if you see any of the places that you would like to see videos of first, please let me know in the comments. It was late when we arrived, but in the walk from Penn Station to our hotel, we found a bakery that was open. They were actually in the process of closing up, but they let us in and let us buy a few things. I couldn't resist from going in there, and from the window I could see these overpriced croissant cubes. I impulsively picked Nutella, forgetting that my wife adores pistachio flavored things. And I gotta say, it was fun biting into this weird monstrosity of a construction. The geometry just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. They must bake this in a pan or something. It was close to $20, but it was really heavy. But hey, if you're going to New York City, you gotta prime yourself for those prices. You know it's gonna be high. The next morning, we took a stroll through Chelsea Market, as one does when you're in the meatpacking district of New York City. And just around there, we happened to check out the Starbucks Reserve. And this place was really speaking my language. They specialize in a little bit more of an immersive experience than your typical Starbucks. So like actual desserts instead of shitty pastries, and concoctions that you can't get at other places. I was able to check off my bucket list getting tiramisu at a Starbucks, and it was actually a pretty respectable version of tiramisu. They also had a hot honey cortado, which is like a Cupid's arrow right through my heart. Everything was so good at the Starbucks Reserve that I decided to grab a half a pound of this Knob Creek barrel-aged coffee beans, which I had them grind for espresso machine. But let's not talk about how partially into the process of him actually grinding the beans for me that this actually was $80 a pound. I think actually something like $84.99 a pound. I know, it hit the wallet pretty hard. $90 espresso beans is not exactly within my means, but it was a delicious treat nonetheless. My wife loves a good brunch, so she found this place called Citizens Coffee. It's an Australian-themed restaurant run by Australian people. I actually had a little bit of fun with this, and before we went, checked some of the menu items with some of my Australian YouTube friends, and they said it looked legit. Based on that, we had to do the Vegemite experience, and it was an experience all right. Aside from that, they had a really good cortado and a nice kind of casual Eggs Benedict. I definitely have a lot to say about this place, and where I fall with Vegemite, it's good. Kind of. We had really nice plans for dinner, but that was going to be much later at night. So we spent the day walking in the city on a cold winter day, and of course doing some shopping. We spent an ungodly amount of time in the Strand bookstore, and then when we came out, we were pretty hungry. We ducked into this Jewish deli chain kind of place called Lenwich, and I had to get a silly sandwich. Fries for good measure, but honestly, I'd skip those next time. They fry them in the same oil that they fry like fish, and you could really taste it. And I gotta say, this sandwich was pretty good, pretty respectable for this style deli, like a chain version. After a nice nap at the hotel, it was snowing pretty heavy, so we took a cab ride out to our dinner spot, Danji, a Korean comfort food spot run by Michelin-starred chef Hooni Kim. Naturally, we had to do the 7-course greatest hits tasting menu, and I have so much to say about this, but up front, it was a very high quality meal. Between all the flavors and the tastes and the depth of all the dishes that kept coming to the table, and it really did seem like those dishes were never gonna stop, to the friendliness of the server who put me onto this sake, I'll put it up here so I don't butcher the name, that's brewed in the style as it was 1,000 years ago. And she mentioned it had kind of like a syrupy, almost white chocolate texture, and I totally got that. It was maybe a little bit too refreshing because they went down pretty easy. This was an evening we really did not want to end. Pricey, but New York City and well worth it. And if all that sounds good, give me a hell yeah and a thumbs up. Of course, we didn't have enough dessert, so we ducked into a milk bar for a nice midnight snack. I had a gooey bar marshmallow brownie and some good sleep. The next morning, a couple bagels for the road, Taylor ham, egg, and cheese on an everything bagel. Come on, it's the classic, you gotta do it. And then jalapeno cheddar bagel with jalapeno cream cheese. I love my heat. And then we were ready to jump on the train ride home. That's like 36 hours in Manhattan, a few $100s spent between transit and restaurants. Not bad for a weekend. Make sure you're subscribed so these individual videos come up on your homepage when they're ready. And click into the playlist on your screen right now to see some more of our travel adventures. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.